Hello everyone, my name is Jimmy and welcome back to The Last Lap. Happy New Year to you guys. We hope you guys had a wonderful break. We have a lot of news to cover, a lot of testing and silly season news to go over with you guys that's come out in the past few weeks. But before we hop into it, I just want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button and that like button. It really does go a long way, helps our channel grow. And as always, I have to introduce my friend and co-host Matthew, joining me back at Liberty University. So it's been a while since we've done one of these videos. We got a lot of news to talk about. So how does it feel to be back and cover a lot of NASCAR news that's come out over the past few weeks over the off season?
Well, I've had a great break. I'm glad to be back here at college for my last semester, as I'm a senior in college, and I'm ready to get this last semester going. It's been a fun Christmas. This has been I've been a great New Year's, but yeah, I'm ready for the season to get back going. It's especially with all the news that's come out the past couple weeks, and also some testing that's been going on, it's getting everything hyped up.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about with you guys. So I've got a little list here, and we're going to go over it. So the first thing, I'll kind of break it in half. We'll talk about the silly season first, and then we'll talk about the testing after that. So the first piece of silly season news we're going to talk about very quickly is that Kaulig Racing announced their Cup Series lineup for the one car that is going to be split among 3 drivers. And it was announced that Noah Gragson was going to be one of those drivers. He's going to be racing in 14 races for Kaulig Racing part-time. And then Daniel Hemrick and AJ Allmendinger will split the other 24 races for Kaulig Racing. All 3 of those guys will be in one car next season. So I would heavily expect AJ Allmendinger to be in most, if not all, of the road course races for that car. Noah Gragson is going to be in the Daytona 500 with Beard Motorsports, I believe. So he's not going to be racing for Kaulig in that race. So that might be Daniel Hemrick who races in that car. But it'll be interesting to see once they fully announce who will be racing at what tracks. I like all 3 of those guys. I think they're going to be a very good team moving forward. They might even have a chance to break. I don't want to make too bold of a prediction, but they have a good chance to do pretty good in the owner points for that race car. They might do better than Justin Haley, honestly, combined in points and owner points, but we'll have to wait and see. But that's a pretty stacked lineup for Kaulig Racing in that Cup Series car. Some more silly season news. Ryan Preece, he's going to be a reserve driver for Stewart-Haas Racing, and what that looks like is that he will race at Dover and the Coke 600 in the Cup Series. He's going to race at Richmond, Charlotte, and Nashville for the Xfinity Series with an unannounced team yet. And then he's going to race 7 races for David Gilliland Racing, which is kind of an affiliate / partner with Stewart-Haas Racing. He'll be available to replace any Stewart-Haas Racing driver if one of them is sick or any other reason that a driver might miss. He will be the go-to replacement for that driver. And long term, they may have found Kevin Harvick's replacement here in Ryan Preece. He could be a good fit for them. We'll have to see how he does in the few races he does in a Cup and then Xfinity and trucks. I think he definitely deserves a full-time ride, but this honestly isn't a terrible option for him. He's in good equipment, so hopefully he can make good advantage of that good equipment and get some good finishes and possibly earn himself a contract moving forward whenever Kevin Harvick decides to retire. Maybe this is a sign that this is Kevin Harvick's last season coming up, or he might be done in a year or two, so definitely some big things for Ryan Preece moving forward. I think this is a good opportunity for him to hopefully get a long-term deal at Stewart-Haas Racing within the next few years. And one more piece of silly season news is that Matt DiBenedetto, he finally found a ride. He even admitted on social media that it took him, he was holding it back from us for quite a while, but he's going to be driving the number 25 truck for, hopefully I get this right, Rackley WAR. That's the team he's going to be racing for full-time in the Truck Series next season. And, I mean, I haven't seen this truck too much on track. I don't even remember who's driven it this year, but I do know it has some potential moving forward. I just don't know if it's the best equipment out there. Well, I mean, I know it isn't the best equipment out there. You definitely have to go against, like, Kyle Busch Motorsports, Thor Sport. those are going to be the two main teams you're going to have to beat. But who knows? Maybe Matt DiBenedetto can have put some life into this team and maybe get a few wins. Possibly, I'm so uncertain about the equipment that he's going to be in. So hopefully it's some decent equipment, and hopefully they can put more money into it as the season goes on. So definitely not what I was expecting from Matt DiBenedetto. I think the best option for him would have been the number 22 at Penske, but I don't even know if they're running that car full time. There's been no announcement about it, so definitely not really sure about that. I guess this is the best option he really had available, which is kind of sad, honestly. But hopefully he can make the best of it and maybe get a few wins in the Truck Series, maybe run for the championship. I'm just so uncertain about the equipment he's in and how good it will be. So that's a lot of silly season news that's come out over the past few weeks. There's even more than that, but we tried to narrow it down for you guys to the most important stuff. So that's all I got to say about the silly season news. So Matthew, go ahead and tell them what you got to think about all of this news that's come out over the past few weeks.
Well, I know we didn't mention about this news, but of course, everybody probably knows about the whole M&M's and Mars leaving NASCAR. I just want to say I'm really sad about that, and that's all I'm gonna say about it. But anyways, the Cup driver calling lineup for that full time car, there's gonna be part time drivers. I mean, I know everybody's known about this for a while now, but I think they're gonna do way better than Justin Haley, in my opinion. I just believe that Justin Haley is, I mean, he's not bad, but I think he's just a great super speedway racer. That's all I can really say. I mean, he hasn't really shown me over the years. Well, the Truck Series he did, but not in the Xfinity Series. He didn't really win like any other track that's not super speedway. So I don't know, but I think Noah Gregson's definitely going to be a great pickup for them, as I believe that kid is just going to just get better over time. Like I believe, like last year in the Xfinity Series, I think he basically had a breakout year, and I think in the Xfinity Series this season, I think he's going to break out year two again. Like he's going to win more races, I think, and become a championship contender. So this is a great step for Noah Gragson for the future. Get some cup starts on him, and I think he'll do pretty well. And Daniel Hamrick being back in the Cup car, I think that's going to be great for him as well. And we all know AJ Allmendinger. He's probably going to be on the road courses and maybe short tracks. And I think he's just going to do amazing on the road courses for sure. So that's all I have to say about that. And let's see. What was the other news again?
One of them was Ryan Preece and Matt DiBenedetto. Those were the other two.
Okay. As for the Ryan Preece, I've always been a big fan of Ryan Preece ever since he was a part-time driver for Joe Gibbs in the Xfinity Series, which he won a couple of races with them. So I believe he deserves a big ride chance, and I think this is the beginning of that chance, because this is similar to what Alex Bowman did with Hendrick Motorsports. Alex Bowman became a relief driver, simulation tester, ran races that someone was out like Dale Jr. So I think this is going to be exactly like what Alex Bowman did for Ryan Preece. He's going to be in SHR one day, so I like it for Ryan Preece. I just think he has a lot of talent, so that's my opinion. And as for Matt DiBenedetto, I'm so happy he finally got a ride. I mean, I think being in the lower series it's actually perfect for him, in my opinion. Let him prove himself that he can win in any series, and not, there's people that were giving him a hard time about, not winning in Cup. This is his perfect chance now of winning a NASCAR race. In any series, he does no wins in all three series combined. So this is a perfect opportunity. I know this truck is actually aligned with GMS, so depending on how strong that alliance is, that could actually work out for DiBenedetto. So we'll see. My best bet, maybe we'll win on a super speedway, or maybe a win at Bristol, maybe. So that's my prediction, and I can't wait to see what he does this season.
Yeah, you made a great point about Ryan Preece being similar to Alex Bowman in how Alex Bowman was kind of a relief driver for a while until a position opened up for him at Hendrick Motorsports. So that could definitely be the case for Ryan Preece here, and it might not just be Kevin Harvick that might be on the move. Eric Almirola could move. Cole Custer, I don't think he's really going to move, and neither is Chase Briscoe. So maybe either Almirola or Harvick, whichever driver goes first, he might be able to hop in that place. And yeah, I was gonna save you the pain, the trauma of going back through the whole M&M's thing, but you brought it up. That was on you. I didn't even remember about that. That was all you that brought that up. But yeah, that was definitely
that's all we're gonna talk about. That's all we're gonna say.
That was definitely a shock. I don't think a lot of people expected that to happen as well. But I mean, well, I'm sure Kyle Busch he's gonna get another sponsor. He's Kyle Busch, so. But yeah,
rest in peace to M&M's and NASCAR after 2022.
That was, yeah, M&M's, they've been in the sport a long time, so yeah, whenever we get more information on that, we'll be sure to update you guys. Nothing as of yet, but obviously they have a whole season left with Kyle Busch before they have to make an announcement on who the next.
Okay, that's all we're going to say about that. Well, I'm going to start talking about that now.
All right, so the last thing we're going to talk about is some testing that happened, and the biggest announcement, arguably, of the off-season is that NASCAR is going to use a 670 horsepower package at all racetracks except super speedways and probably Atlanta because of the repave. And Atlanta, I'm going to get to that in a second because there was a tire test, but NASCAR decided this after some testing at Charlotte a few weeks ago. Even a few weeks before this test, I believe they did the 550 package there, and then they tried the 670 because that's what some of the NASCAR Cup Series drivers wanted to try, so they tried it. And a few days after that test, they announced, boom, 670 horsepower for all tracks except super speedways and probably Atlanta. So that test was incredible to watch too, because there were so many drivers that spun out. I know Tyler Reddick probably spun out like 7 times, but he spun out. I think Chase Elliott spun out once or twice. I can't think of most drivers off the top of my head, but a lot of drivers struggled and spun out. So that was really great to see. It was tough to handle the cars, and there were even some group restarts. They did a restart of probably 20 or so cars in a pack and ran for probably 20 to 30 laps or until there was an incident on the racetrack. And it was a fantastic test. I can't wait for more group testing soon in the future. But Atlanta, they did a tire test as well a few days ago for all 3 series. The Cup, Truck, and Xfinity series were all at Atlanta doing a test on the brand new configuration. So that was great to see. Didn't get too much footage. We got a little bit of footage on Twitter and Instagram and all that from NASCAR. Not too much though, so definitely looking forward to what happens with Atlanta, what package they end up going with. I've heard some rumors that I don't know. It's probably gonna be the super speedway package or a hybrid, or I don't know what they're gonna do with Atlanta. It's gonna be interesting, but yeah, those were 2 tests that happened in the past few weeks. We're both definitely happy that we get more horsepower. There was a lot of off throttle time at Charlotte for the 670 horsepower package, so it's going to be very interesting to see how the racing improves with obviously the next gen car, and now this 670 horsepower package where people have been used to running 550 on mile and a half for most of the year. So definitely looking forward to the on-track performance at these mile and a halfs next season. So Matthew, what do you have to say about these tests that went on over the past few weeks?
Well, it's great to hear about the package. I mean, everyone's known about this for a while. But my opinion is it's the best thing that ever happened in NASCAR the past couple years besides this next gen car. So that's something positive right there. No more of the worst package ever in NASCAR history with the 550 package. No more. Unless they bring it back for this Atlanta race, but we'll see. But as for the Atlanta testing, they had all 3 series down there, mostly for tire testing. and I don't know what to say about it because it was mostly like single car runs, so nothing to judge on that. But the whole Atlanta thing, I'm not feeling confident about. I think it's gonna be an absolute disaster in my opinion. I mean, complete opposite in my opinion of the Clash coming up, which I think that race is gonna be amazing in my opinion. But for Atlanta, I think it'll be a disaster. I think it's just gonna be exactly what happened in Kentucky and Texas when they reconfigured those tracks. An absolute disaster or dumpster fire. So that's my opinion. We'll see how the racing goes. We'll see what package to use on that certain race, but I'm not feeling too confident about it. But we'll see. I mean, the banking looks cool, but we might as well be calling it Atlanta Super Speedway basically, because that's really what it's becoming, a super speedway track. So we'll see if that comes true. It probably will, but I don't know. I'm just not feeling confident about this track.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical about Atlanta too. I loved the old Atlanta. I mean, it definitely needed a repave. There were literally potholes in the track of the last race, but I loved the old Atlanta. The race that comes to my mind off the top of my head instantly is the 2011 race between Jeff Gordon and Jimmy Johnson there. They were slipping and sliding all over the racetrack fighting for the lead with probably the last 15, 20 laps, and that was really cool to see the drivers struggle and the cars get sideways and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it would have been interesting to see if they just repaved the racetrack instead of did the whole reconfiguration with the more banking and the more narrow track. But
like if they reconfigured it, if they were going to reconfigure it, they might as well should have reconfigured it to the old Atlanta when the start finish line was like on the back straightaway. There was no tri-oval. I think it would have been like just like it would have been like a Dover style track. I think that's how it was back in the 80s, the 90s, I think, before they turned into a mile and a half tri-oval. So I don't know. They shouldn't have done this configuration, in my opinion.
yeah, I think the old configuration, I think it was more flat of a racetrack. I don't think it had that much banking. Maybe it did. I don't know. Obviously, none of us were alive when the old Atlanta was a thing, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this new Atlanta configuration goes. I'm hoping for good things, but with the past several tracks that have done reconfigurations, they have not gone too well. Part of that's probably the package as well. With the 550 package, the racing is not that good anyways, so it'll be interesting to see how much the package really changes things and if the racing is a lot better and if it's not the racetracks, because we need a few mile and a halfs on the schedule. Like we don't need a lot like there have been before, but we do need some mile and a halfs on the schedule, and we do need the racing to be good at them. So hopefully this package changes that. So with that, I think that's about it for the news. Do you have any other comments before we go ahead and wrap this first video of the season up?
So this coming week we're going to Daytona testing. We'll be talking about that the next video coming up at Daytona for more testing, which I think they'll be testing out more horsepower packages there.
Yeah, a lot more testing coming throughout the off season. We will keep you guys updated on everything regarding that and any other silly season news that might be announced. But that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this video. We hope you guys enjoyed it. We hope you guys had a very wonderful off season as well, but we are back. We're going to have to do a predictions video in a few weeks. That'll be fun to see if we can do any better than last year, because last year was absolutely terrible. So we'll have to see if we do any better with our predictions. That'll probably come out in a few weeks. But stay tuned. Stay subscribed. Check us out on all our social media. But until next time, we'll see you guys in our next video.